Hello, I'm Ross, and we've got an exciting game of LaSalle coming up here. Not only is it a great game, and I love playing LaSalle, and it always never seems to disappoint. I wish more people played it. But we got the new microphone. We've just gone crazy with the effects budget. Got cotton wool to show the firing, little markers to show where things are moving, which should help, hopefully, the viewing. Also helps me remember exactly what happened. We've got, a turn counter. We use the zoom and effects on every picture. Very excited. Hope you enjoy it. It was a scenario we played before with a few adaptations because, let's move on and have a look. Right, the first thing you'll notice right in the centre of the screen is we've got trees either side of the bridge, which is basically Roger's idea then. It worked well to cut out all those powerful lines of fire that the artillery had before, which really dominated the centre of the battlefield and forced you to either really go really wide or run the gauntlet. So, the scenario, if you can see the other one, is the table is cut into 4 corners, or quarters, by a road running down the middle, which doesn't really have much effect on the game, and more importantly, a river running across. Now, the area in the middle of the wood is impassable, and either side of it is fordable. Now, the way this works is that, effectively, you have 2 quarters on your side, and there's 2 quarters on your opponent's side. You put the objective marker in one of your 2 quarters, which is represented by these little houses or pubs. That's a big race for the pubs. And the other quarter is where you deploy. And the objective is to try and break the opponent's army or get 3 objectives, which means crossing the river at some point. Now, we rolled for scenery, and I think rather unfortunately, you can see those fields marked there by the very expensive special effects, corn effects you have there. And which unfortunately means for me to cross the river on my, I'm the army at the bottom of the table here, playing Prussians against Saxons. We've got similar types of armies. We've got 1 artillery each this time. There's supposed to be cavalry coming on later, but a bit of a plot spoiler. It wasn't about turn 15 that we remembered. It's going to be light cavalry this time to make a difference. But anyway, the problem I've got is I either go through the field at half speed, and it's already half speed across the river, or go all the way around, which is just so far. They're going to be out of the game for too long. So I immediately decided it's just not a feasible attack. So, but if I make that clear, we're going to end up with just a battle on the right-hand side of the table as I look. So my plan, Roger's defender, so he's deployed first. And you can see he's put top right-hand corner, 5 columns heading across the river. And the rest of his army deployed ready to counter any attack I make around this flank. Now, normally I'm very aggressive in these games, and I love an open flank and a big flank attack, as you might know. And I think this is what Roger's expecting. And the Saxons have deployed enough strength to counter that, or go for the bridge, which is a tough one. You basically got to melee your way across it and bash your way through if you want to take that. And then, the way I put my objective, I sort of threw it down a bit near. Now, one mistake here, which we do rectify before the game starts, is I put 2 attack columns next to the bridge. And the idea was to threaten I was going to attack the bridge. But really, the plan for those is to sweep across to the bottom right. Also, I've deployed, you'll see those back a bit further from the bridge, which actually helps my plan. Because what I'm hoping to do is lure across those columns on the right by the river, get them over to my side of the river, and then send in the vast majority of my army, as much as I possibly can, to destroy those and break his army. And that's how I can win this. I can't win by scenario. I can't get to his objective unless I get very lucky on the bridge. So all those columns on the left facing the river are feint. I'll be a bit naughty because I put them back a bit. If you want to cross the river in one go, you really have to be touching them. So I'm going to have a turn just sort of fiddling around with those. But because they're in column, they're very flexible. And the idea is draw in 3 or 4 Saxon units over my side of the river and all sweep round, destroy them, and end the game quite conclusively and quickly, hopefully. So you can see those attack columns it's a feint. They're not really going to go for the bridge. They're going to sweep across the far right, but they're too close to the bridge anyway. So you've done the redeployment. They've come back. I think it's more than 6 base widths. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen here, I've got units of my regulars. My army is basically 1 grenadiers, which is the units just the other side of the cannons, and they became in a crucial spot. They turned out really well. And then my flank charge is a couple of Landwehr, which have that wonderful random ability level. They're probably going to be rubbish, with some of my sort of amateur troops. And I've also got another unit of Landwehr in the middle, which is going to come in with this right hand. So I've really gone for a stronger right hand division, much stronger. And their plan, if you just lure him over the river, go in and just beat them before they can get back again, or get supported. Oh, just a close up there. So I'll just go through the deployment in a bit more detail. At the top there you see Roger's got about half his army set to come and match what he expects to be a major assault by me around the flank, as I usually do, but that field is I don't really have that option, so I'm going to feint that attack and hopefully draw these across the road. And you've got the attack columns getting ready to come over the river or support the bridge. Kept them flexible there. As you can see, they're right on the river. In fact, I think this might be the turn one, they're moving across onto the river. Here's my columns. As you can see, I put them back a little bit back from the river so I can move them up to the river for a turn to give the impression I'm going to cross. Hopefully draw his army across and then not cross and swing round and try and get everything I can for a decisive win on the other flank. And here's my artillery and column ready to come and give close support to the infantry that's going to fight on this side. See, my warriors, right, there's my first turn. Now you can see, look at the fancy movement markers, those little MDF sticks. They do get arrows added later, which even helps even more. So you can see at the bottom of the screen, oh sorry, I start from the left. My columns have moved up to the river to make it look like they're going to cross it. The other column I had further back, they've moved up. The other column not going to go across on its own, they've stopped by the river. In the centre, my attack columns are making out to attack the bridge, which he has to defend. If he doesn't defend it, I will take the bridge. Otherwise, they will join in the battle, which is going to occur on the right, because his units, I've shown two turning one. You can just see on the right edge the movement markers to show those columns have indeed crossed the river into my territory. And there's a close-up of those. So you can see them crossing. And it's actually a stronger force than I should look a bit more closely at this, because it's 5 strong battalions coming through there. And at the moment, I've only got 3 on this flank, with everyone else doing a feint on the other flank. So they better hurry up and get across, or this could backfire a bit. So the way the turn counting works in this cell, it's now turn 3. It's my second turn. So I've had 1 turn each. I'm artillery, deploy, ready to blast away at those guys coming across the river there. And this reads my defensive line. That square marker, the pub's been removed because it doesn't affect line of fire. But that is the objective. And you can see my units have actually gone. You can see my movement markers there. On the left, I've got 1 unit going across the river. I have to keep him honest. Thinking back on it, I think if they don't cross the river now, it's obvious I'm not going to go that way. And his artillery could try and find a good spot to get involved on the side. Although thinking back, looking at it now, there's no real good spot for his artillery. If the battle takes place on this side of the river, I don't really need to worry about his artillery. But my plan is to decoy them, and I'm moving up. But the rest of the army is sweeping to the right to give pressure on the bridge, and also then go past the bridge and go for a majority attack and a win by breaking on the right. So in the background you see Roger carefully advancing across the river, and one of my 5-year-olds there, young Xavi, has jumped in. As you might know from the chicken videos, he can't resist the camera, so I've left that one because it's a nice little thing. And it does show that the Saxons have crossed the river, so, and you can still see my markers in place. Phase 1 on the way. Well, this is in my studio if you're wondering where the battle's taking place. Okay, so a little bit of a crisscross. Basically, I'm just moving as much as I can across to the right without giving the game away completely just yet. I've decided the unit that was going to cross the river next to the wood was too vulnerable in column. So he gets double dice on the shooting, and I better bring them around. I'm just faffing about really to try and mislead. Sun Tzu, art of deception is part of war and all that. So he's committed to cross the river now. See, my reinforcements are coming across. I've got a column actually getting very close to the bridge, which, as it turns out, was a little bit careless positioning, as you'll see in a minute. But I've got 2 attack columns ready to intercept those there with artillery support, and 2 columns on the far right, which have advanced a bit too far in some ways. I mean, I really wanted to draw him on, and they were the bait. But looking at it, what I didn't want to happen here was to start winning this battle, and then for him to escape across the river, and it became a draw or a non-event. So I put those there to try and keep drawing him in, that's the plan. And I think Roger's thinking, well, I can go in there, break a few units, and he can win. And also the objective's right there. And I don't have it particularly well defended. Oh, don't forget, it's the brown marker, not the building. Okay, so there's a bit of an overview. As you see on the left, unfortunately, he hasn't really taken the bait, although the artillery has positioned to start bombing my unit on the far left, which I thought was me being quite clever, but looking at it from here, where else was the artillery going to go, really? If they go on the far right, the hill blocks them off, or his own troops do. So maybe that was a wasted unit, which becomes very significant as we move on. You can see the overall crossing the river, and my unit's moving across. Here's the advanced no expense spared scoreboard with a 5 showing very clearly. Okay, so the artillery do a shot and put a red marker on. Oh, I haven't started using the shooting markers yet, but you can see the red counter there showing a hit on those, or helps. With my columns coming across, they can move through the objective marker, so the building doesn't count. So they can try and mob in there, but there's that other unit coming across the hill. So there's a nice overview. On the left you see I've committed to crossing the river in an attack column, and it really is just to draw the artillery fire away and just leave a threat there. And I've also pushed a unit back up to the river again near the wood. I didn't want to be able to move everything away, but in some ways, if this is a race, I'm on the right side of the river. I wanted to, anyway, the thinking was keep that threat appearing, because he has to deal with it. If he does all move away, I will cross the river and try and do some damage from the back onto the bridge or the objective. There's 2 units not involved. And on the right, you can see I'm flooding across to the right now. They're moving full move. The column has gone to block the bridge. I should have thought about that a bit more. And the other 2 units, sorry, the other 4 units are moving across to intercept. And unfortunately, they're getting a bit ahead of the artillery. Makes it a bit more difficult to shoot. Just another angle. You can see here, crossing the river, General faffing about on this flank, and the main action happening in the centre and towards my far right. Yeah, so I didn't really work this out very well here, because I decided that's where I'd draw the line, because I really want to draw them all right into my corner, even the ones on the left-hand side of the picture, because then I can charge into their flank, or at least commit them. Oops, sorry, I just banged the new microphone. I was going to deploy both units in line there to stop those. And we got our house rule, don't forget, where if you're in line you shoot against all the units in your fire line. So I could really hold them off. But do I really want to hold them off or draw them on? Anyway, it becomes a moot point, because the unit on the left, although I put a marker on to show it's changing to line, by doing that the line will extend to the left because it can't go to the right. And that will put him in charge range of those attack columns with the flank hanging out. So he can't do that. The best he can do is sort of shuffle round and form up an attack column on the flank and try and hold this long enough for the artillery to take effect and the other units to come across. So that's really where the action is. So there's an overhead. You can see the artillery is getting a bit crowded out, especially if I start advancing to the ones crossing the river. What you also notice behind the artillery, the unit that was originally covering the bridge is now column rounding to add its numbers to this far right flank. And as you know, the new unit is now blocking the bridge in column. And you can see the Saxon units crossing the river and swinging round with a majority, and I've left those 2 battalions are looking very exposed. So he managed to rally the guys across the river who got hit by the artillery. So the artillery's achieved nothing so far. So I'm sacrificing a unit on the far left to keep his artillery out of the game, which probably can't shoot anyway. And my artillery's now effectively done nothing, even though it's in a great spot. There we are. Hindsight's 20/20. Okay, over to turn 7, so it's back to me again. I'm doing the turns in pairs generally. Okay, so another unit's now flooding across the right to join in over here. And my unit on the far left has taken a hit from the artillery. You can see the red markers appearing. It is drawing the fire, but why did I go so far around? I think in my mind I was thinking I'd get outside the 20 base width range, but he's not going to outrange the artillery. He's just well gone for them. And if got lucky, then his canister. I don't know. Anyway, they're just a decoy, but didn't play them very well. The other unit's coming across to join in the main fight. I've left that unit by the river just as a kind of threat. I think if Roger thought about it, cross the river, then through the field, then round, it's going to be 4 or 5 turns before they do anything, and he could have ignored them. Now that mark you see below my column covering the bridge, they failed their manoeuvre test. Because they're amateurs, they have to pass a manoeuvre test to do any change of formation in front near the enemy. And of course they are near the enemy. So they're defending the bridge and blinking column. Which is very disastrous if they get hit. So on the left you see the attack columns. They were going to advance, as you see on those markers, but I think they actually didn't go as far in the end, so I realised I'm going to block off my artillery. So I sort of made to do that, but really I want to draw him on. And so I don't think they did that in the end. They just sort of sidled up a little bit and left the artillery with a field of fire. And you see this column wheeling around on the right hand side. I pushed up to just outside 4. Give myself a bit more room. It made a lot of difference, really. After saying every other, there's a marker to show it's now the Saxon turn. This is just a bit of a random photograph of my unit on the far flank getting hit by the artillery. We're nicely sighted on that hill and enjoying themselves. And here comes the Saxon advance. They're all pushing up. They're getting themselves within charge range, and there's a lot of them. And the only one being avoids the line at the bottom at the moment. There you go, another view of that. See, my columns are coming in from the left, the Prussians, and the Saxons are pushing up because they've actually got an advantage now, 5. If he can be quick, he's got 5 against 3, then I get 4, then I get 5, then the artillery, and suddenly I'm favourite. So I'm not in a rush to engage. Now, of course, he comes in attack column against my march column across the bridge. It's potentially disastrous if they get hit. They're not going to survive that, I don't think. I think they'll land there as well. So back to my next turn, the Prussian. And look at that. They've got cotton wool shooting markers now. Shooting at last. So the artillery fires and does a pip. As you can see the red marker there. And also this attack column does a pip. So not bad shooting. Take that. So on the far left you see that the column did make its manoeuvre test, thank goodness, and backed off instead of engaging. They then made a further half move backwards, as they're allowed to do. I wonder if march column on the road, they could have gone a bit faster. I didn't think of that. Anyway, going backwards, I don't know. Anyway, they're just in the 4 charge range because of the way they've retreated. So what you'll see next to him is their attack column is turned round. So if he does charge through, he might well destroy that column, but then we'll flank charge and destroy his column. And maybe take the bridge then, and maybe the guys crossing the river are useful. You see my line has just come back a bit just to make sure it's out of range. And so is the column because they were blocking off the artillery fire. And I'm thinking, why am I engaging? Why am I advancing? Artillery's doing the damage. If he comes to me, I'll shoot him. And Rogers also commented on this. He realised he's in a really sticky situation here. Because he's slowly being outnumbered. There's no real way of reinforcing him. The artillery are pounding away. Every time the Saxons advance, they're going to get shot by infantry. So I'm just pulling back a bit with another column sweeping around the bottom to support to make this position even stronger. And as you see, just to add to that, another column that was fainting earlier on has now come around, another group of Landwehr, to engage that unit crossing the bridge, which will free up the column that's just evaded to go somewhere else, or at least not be a column anymore. And I'm hoping those Landwehr that are coming in from the side will be able to stop the ones on the bridge, or ones who've just crossed the bridge now they've actually taken it. So the Saxon artillery jiggles round a bit to keep shooting at the poor blokes who are moving around the far left. And I have crossed the river. Because I suddenly realised I've got a chance of taking this bridge. And it's not very easy for him to support unless reacts quickly and the unit right by his hand there comes around. Which I'm sure they will. But anyway, this cross the river, why not? They're sitting there doing nothing otherwise. And the column, is, as you know, is coming in to intercept the ones that have crossed the bridge. And you see the cotton wool now appearing on Roger's side, or the Saxon side. But not very effective shooting. Can't see any red pips. I don't think they did anything. Just a bit of a bonus. All helps. And there we are. There's view on the on the left. Didn't fancy the chances there. I think the calculation by Roger there was that, okay, charge over. They might destroy the column. They might not. But they'll definitely get destroyed then because I've got 2 flanks coming in. So, you know, he might get one. At best, he's going to get a trade-off 1 for 1. And also he's got a couple of units in trouble now in the centre because they're getting beaten up a bit by the artillery. So he's done the sensible thing and retreated back to the bridge and just hold the objective and remain a threat. Because it has, the effect it's done is the ones I have to the right of the road did have to turn. Maybe they didn't with that unit coming up from the side. But anyway, it's taken him out of my defence for a turn, so that worked pretty well for him. And here comes a Saxon advance. And I have to say, throughout this game, Roger threw me how aggressive he was. I'm used to him, well, not expecting him anyway, to be more defensive usually. But he has worked out, maybe a bit quicker than me, that this is where the game's going to be won and lost, and he can't really escape. With the river and everything in the way, he's got to take his chances now and try and take as much as he can with him, or even break me. So anyway, in they come. And don't forget, my unit on the top left is facing the wrong way. And the unit in reserve is coming across to block the ones across the river. And I keep seeing that unit up by the field there. I'm sure he's got a column just sitting in reserve. I don't think they came into the game all the way through, so I had a kind of advantage of one. And you see the column sweeping across. Oh, on to my turn 11. So this game, unusually for us, has been in the all manoeuvre so far. Now, I know there's been no melees, not much shooting, very light casualties, and the game could end on turn 16. So I do my defensive fire, my reaction, and it's fantastic. I mean, you are rolling 4 dice, and I've got superior skirmishes in some of these occasions, so I get 5 dice, needing 2 rolls of 2 hits. 4, 5, 6. So he should do it. But, you know, the great thing was they all did it. And the artillery even did 2 hits. So that's really stopped the advance. And it's a really sticky situation for the Saxons now. Because reinforcements are arriving all the time. And they're taking heavy casualties. And they've got to advance into line with... Oof. So I, of course, sweep across. And the unit that was covering the bridge is now turned back to face. So by the bridge I've got 2 units to 1 there. The column that evaded out of it is sweeping around to get involved in the fight. And the spare battalion is now blocking the bridge in attack column. So I'm feeling very good about the situation now. It feels like it's gone to plan. I mean, the attack force on the right was more powerful than I was originally thinking about. Oh, that was my cat climbing across again. Part of the video these days. It's looking really strong. And the one at the bottom has gone in to support the line. So if they do get overrun, I've got a fresh unit to batter them back. And here's a close-up of that. Which, I thought I was being really smart here, giving support so the line can fall back behind them. But it just doesn't work, because you go backwards, you move a half move, and they can't clear them. And if they do get beaten, well, unfortunately we're about to find out. And also got 2 battalions facing off against my 1 battalion just above that. But don't forget, the artillery is doing a lot of damage on those. I think one's even on 3 and can't charge if he wants to. There's a close-up there just to show covering the bridge and the extra battalion coming in. I've now got a real majority in this corner, and I'm really hoping to win this decisively. Yeah, the poor blokes on the far left, I think there's a green marker up there. They just rallied one. They were great. And they kept marching and marching, getting hit, rallying, marching, getting hit. I mean, they're slowly getting attrition, but they've done a great job. And the guys attacking across into the field now, just to give that extra thing to think about. Otherwise they're out of the game. So the Saxon defensive fire, and he started to do some red pips. So it's we're starting to trade blows a bit. Now the battle's finally afoot. Okay, just the left flank, just to reinforce that. We were on the left. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, the French artillery have done another red pip on the poor blokes on the far left. So they rallied one, they lost one, still in there. Not a great mission they had for the day. Right, so Roger's no mug, and you can see that this corner is looking pretty bleak for the Saxons there. Reinforcements arriving every turn, artillery damage, shooting damage. So the top left is charged. Both my units will get defensive fire, but only one will melee because he's charged, and he's hoping to get a bit of luck, break them. Why not? And similarly in the bottom corner here, our house rules that line get to shoot against all the targets in their fire lane, don't forget, so we'll get a shot against both of those. Hopefully get a pip on them, but it's still overwhelming force. But I'm feeling they shouldn't get destroyed, and the column can take over the battle when they retreat through them, which I need to look a bit more closely at. And meanwhile, there's a battalion to their left, looks a bit isolated, but actually the 2 units above them, the one in the middle, on the left as we're looking, is on 3 pips already, so they can't charge. So the other one could charge on their own, but that, don't forget, is the guards. That's where my grenadiers are. So I'm getting extra dice there for the grenadiers, and he's the attacker. So we should win that and then get them onto, I think, possibly even 3. I think they're on 1 or 2 already. And follow up and charge and break them. So thought about that, saying, right, going to stand and rally those instead. Typically gets the rally. So they're no longer on 3. So the artillery got to do 2 more hits to try and destroy them, which would be a bonus. See the charge at the top, of course. Charge at the bottom. Colours for some reason. Okay, so he's formed a line just to make sure this unit in the field's not going anywhere. And another. It looks like no. They are moving towards the bridge. The other ones, yeah. Turn 13. And now we're getting stuck into each other. So you can see this is my defensive fire. Put the special effects on, and the artillery did it. You beauties. First of all, at the top we did 1 pip, 2 lots of defensive fire. I had a chance of getting 2, 1. That'll have to do. The artillery does 2 hits, destroys that unit. What a bonus! And in the centre, everyone's doing a pip. Everyone's hitting. Great shooting. No doubles, but hey, a hit on everything is great and really stops the advance. Okay, so the Landwehr that have been coming across from the left to cover the bridge now have to earn their corn, and they charge in, roll the dice. 1, 2, 3, they're poor. 4, 5, nothing. We roll again. 6, they are on fire. They are hyped up. 2 extra dice, so they go in with 10 dice. And I think there's a pip on the guys who just crossed the bridge, which is, oh, what a bonus, because it allows me to have because the battalion on the right has turned around to face that charge it's facing. So I need those Landwehr to try and win that if they can, please. Or at least stay alive, otherwise we've got a unit behind them. It's quite a tense spot. Well, I'm on 10 dice, facing against 7. I get 3 hits, not too bad. It's 5s and 6s to hit. And then Rod rolls 4. I didn't even get the draw. Yeah, oh, that's against 8. 10 dice against 8. There we are, lost. So it's 10-8 isn't massive odds, but still you like to win that one. So there's this charge where Roger's taking his chances before I get 2 onto 1. I think he's on 2 pips. I think I'm actually getting more dice. So 7 dice each, roll off, and thank goodness it went that way around because I was the red dice and I won. Because if he'd gone the other way around, I'd have been a 2 to 1 and he would have destroyed my unit. Can always happen. It's worth attacking in this game. It does encourage attacking play, especially the melees. Because if you lose, you lose 1. You win, you can destroy a whole unit. Anyway, they've taken their hit and they've gone back, and I've got 2 to 1, and he's on 2 pips. I'm fancying a charge there. And here's the line, trying to hold out against that double column attack. I think I'm on my full 8 dice. And I think he's got 3 pips between the 2 units, something like that. So he's on 13 dice, so it's not great. And we lose. And they're working back how far they're going to fall back now. Because you roll odds, it's 1, evens, it's 2, and of course I rolled evens. So they can't squeeze in. And I've been so stupid here, because if they clear the attack column that's behind them, where the corner of that piece of paper is, that shows to the distance, is the corner of the table. So if they go, they've got to clear the column that's behind them, which pushes them off the edge of the table. So, even though they only lost by a couple, I can't remember the exact result, they're destroyed. Just by me being stupid with the details again. I think I had a really good plan. And just poor execution. I've really got to pay more attention to the details. So I do have a fresh attack column there to stop them at least. I mean, it looks like he's outnumbered 2 to 1, but if you look closely, you'll see that as we look, the left-hand battalion's got 3 pips on it, and the other one's got 2. So 1 more pip on the left-hand battalion, he can't charge. The only reason he could charge previously was because the 3rd pip was done by my reaction fire. He's only on 2 pips, so he made the charge. But they're very, very shaky, both those battalions. It's just annoying that I lost the battalion of line. If they'd have fallen back, I wouldn't have lost anything there, and this battalion surely could do enough to, well, break one, I hope. And the other battalion there is on the flank, is going to try and chase down the infantry in their centre. You see they were being hit by the artillery. Okay, so there's a nice double charge lined up at the top. It's going to block out the artillery from a target, but hey. And you see the green disc sitting in those Landwehr were Peggy 6s. Thank you very much. So in they go. Yes, roll the 6. Landwehr doing great today. So I get 10 points there. Charging with a +2 for being highly motivated or whatever, and a double charge there. I'm hoping to break 2 units, and I can shoot at the one down the bottom, 3 units, go for a charge, 4, and really put a world of pain in there. So what I've done is just angle, hang on, the next picture shows it better. Yeah, just angle those slightly to make sure the shooting is against the one in the most forward, which is going to be the one on 3 pips. So if I can do one shooting attack there, they're destroyed. If I don't, they can't charge anyway, and it's a one-on-one, and I've got less pips and defending, so they're doing fine, which means the unit to the side of them can move on and chase something else. I'm just as a belt and braces, really. This unit's swinging around to support that unit there, because what I'm thinking is my unit in the centre is going to be charging up off the table. There will be room for them to move into, so I'm liking this corner a lot. Meanwhile, the guys at the top on that long flank march, remember them, they're still marching, and they got another rally there, another green, thank you very much. And the guys crossing the fields are now threatening in his deployed line to stop them, as you saw. And that's kind of, well, so it goes. Yeah, so defensive fire goes in against my attack column there. I didn't want to charge them in. They could charge the 3, but you can lose those melees, as we've seen. And I can just shoot them up with much better odds, I think. Especially with the support column coming up. Artillery he's firing against my central one has missed. I don't think he did any casualties at the top where I've got the 2-to-1 either. So not a great round of shooting there for the Saxons. And look at this, another 6 for the Landwehr. 2 Landwehr, both roll 6. Thank you very much. So they get 10 dice as well. So defenders, I can't quite read it on my screen, you might see it better than me. 2 or 3 pips anyway, so they're on a 5 or 6 dice, I think it's 5. 7 for the main unit charging in, that's 8 minus 1. The Landwehr giving another 10, so it's like 17 dice. I don't think I've ever rolled 17 dice before against 5. If you're going to roll 17 dice, what a waste of 5s and 6s, really. 2, 4, 6, 9 hits. So the poor old Saxons there, even with it, 8 dice, would have had to roll 5 hits out of 8 not to be broken. So they're smashed. Boom. So, yeah, unit broken. This part of the plan's working very well suddenly. Defensive fire, there's a hit on the Landwehr. They were 10 minus 1, now I think they're with 9. I think there's a marker on the guys going over the bridge, or even 2. Can't see it on this picture, unfortunately. We'll do the die. There's 2 hits. So, 4 hits they destroyed, 3 hits they win, 2 hits draw, which means they get knocked back and take a hit. Yeah, oh well. How annoying. So I have to bounce off those guys. Oh, just rub it in again. There they are, they've lost, they've gone back 1. So at the top you see there that Rogers managed to get one of his units out of trouble. They've gone backwards. He's now doing a fighting retreat because they're overwhelmed 3-1 at least, and getting blasted by artillery. And he got a 3 dice rally. It's the green pip, so I can't quite destroy those. I mean, well, look at the bottom. The only option left really was the guys in the bottom right hand corner on 2 pips have charged in to try and break me, because yeah, there's not many points to break an army in this. And anyway, where they're going to go, there's no escape. And it also stops me doing defensive fire against the guys on 3. Because these are now in the way. Okay, so on to my turn 15. This could be the last turn. So I do my defensive shooting. I just do nothing. Just a hit on that one on 3 would have killed it. There we are. Anyway, nothing at all. I think the artillery measured it and they couldn't quite squeeze a shot through that gap. Again, another little careless. I haven't got a lot of room to manoeuvre with. I've really got to make sure that shot is on because it's just not quite wide enough. It's not quite 4 base widths. So these, luckily, I've got these well-placed reserves coming around past the artillery. Remember them? So they're going to charge in and hit the guys on 3. We're going to fight this melee down the bottom. And at the top, I'm chasing those ones who are retreating backwards. Because they rallies, it makes all the difference. So I couldn't destroy them with the artillery. I need to hit them with more than 1 unit. And luckily, well, again, the plan's working. It's not just like the guys on the top are swinging in to join in their weight. Okay, so Roger made an interesting calculation here, because we've worked out, it was about now, it was turn 15, we just realised, or Roger suddenly realised, that the cavalry is supposed to be rolling for our reserves, and we hadn't done all game. It's only going to be light cavalry, but man, it could make such a difference. And the situation we're in is that this could be the last turn, and I've already had my turn, so I don't get to roll for them at all. But on the other hand, if you look at the situation, all the fighting's down my end of the table. If I brought the cavalry on, they could be in there in 2 turns and quite useful. Whereas the Saxon cavalry, right opposite side of the table, and they've got to cross a river, they're never going to get in anyway. So anyway, we thought about it and just said, no cavalry, infantry only battle, which the added consequence is we're only playing with 2 divisions. We've both basically got 9 infantry units. So if we lose 4, we're broken. And if you think at the moment, we're getting quite close. I've destroyed 2, and I think I can go for the 4 if I get a chance, and should do it, given a couple of turns. I mean, I am winning this battle. But I've lost 1 because of the retreat of the line, which I didn't do very well. I've also now got that unit on the top left very exposed, getting hit regularly by the artillery. If he can break 2 more, that's his best chance of winning the game. So I think the Landwehr defended with 9 dice against about 7 and fought them off and did a pip. And then we go to the crucial charge down the bottom with my support column, if you remember, is being hit. I roll plenty of dice. Look at that lot, only 2 hits. You know when you've rolled 2 hits, there's always a chance that this could go horribly. And Roger dumps down 4 hits with 6 dice. I defended with 7, he attacked with 6. Again, trying to snatch defeat for the jaws of victory. Or, well done, Roger, whatever. They're destroyed. So I've got 2 destroyed. Exposed unit up in the top left-hand corner. I haven't shown the Landwehr much in the middle in their line, firing away. They're both, nothing much significance happening. And I can't catch that unit in the middle to just break him. So if I lose 1 more unit, I've broken. So I'm going to try and break 2 units. They're charging against the guys on 3 there. Just got to win that one to destroy them. And we're chasing the guys, sorry, at the top we're charging those guys on 3. There you go, a better view. So my units are all racing across to try and catch the guys who are facing off against my column in front of the hill there. The artillery are swinging rounds. If this goes horribly wrong somehow, they can shoot at least. And I should have been a bit more thought into positioning the artillery, because I've left them just a bit too close to his far right units, can swing round and get to them. They hadn't fired anyway. They could have moved, and I could have moved them way back so they could shoot and couldn't be attacked. Little details like that. Generally, it's a broad brush game, and it's great flow of the things, but you do need to watch some of the details. So as you can see around the top, also, sorry, next to the wood I should have mentioned, they've actually turned around again, and they can charge him around and help the Landwehr polish those off again. So be back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so I did mention this, but anyway, my Landwehr not being shot, they formed line. The guys at the top have rallied again. Thing to stay in the game. That'd be awesome. Well, just about a view of the same thing. Artillery running around, guys by the wood. 1 going to the left to flank his unit that came over the bridge. 1 going to the right to help attack the guys near the hill. And a charge down the bottom. Okay, so I just formed line there. I didn't think of this. They've evaded, they passed their test, and they've just moved away. So I can just hit those, another one destroyed, I see 1 more. And because of the angle, well, I can't catch them. It's so frustrating. And you see the evade there, because what they've done, I've combined the 2 on this picture, they've done the evade, and then they've done their half move backwards. And because they've effectively moved 4, and because of the angle I can't charge 4, because I have to wheel first. And I can't get a shot with the artillery either, because they're blocked off. So I can't get enough units to break the Saxons. It's a canny fighting withdrawal, it really is. And the guys on the hill have gone backwards, and they've got up on the top of the hill, and because of the angles, I can only catch them with one unit, and if I do that, I'd be charging uphill, which gives 2 dice advantage to defenders. I'm on pips. I know, it's a tough one to win the game. And look at that. Down the bottom, the unit coming on the flank has done a 3 dice rally. Oh, that hurts. And that makes a big difference, because they're the ones that are going to swing round and attack my artillery. If they're on 2, 1 round of artillery shooting can do 2 hits and destroy them. On 1, I can't. He can get to me and shoot without me getting the chance to destroy him. Alright, so into the bonus turns now. Turn 17. If we both roll a 1, the game is over. We don't. Game continues. That's the situation. The top left, you see them facing off. I've still got my unit at the very top left. Hope you saw that. Moving on towards the centre. He's charged again into my landwehr because I've got another unit coming into the flank. And I can have 2 to 1 and destroy those sooner or later. And if I can just catch the units running away on the right, either one will do for me to win the game. It's like a chase suddenly. There you go, all my units going in. Don't quite reach the guys on the hill, unfortunately. But I think I do get the flank charge next to the landwehr. So that's going to be another shed load of dice, and he only gets half dice because I've charged in the flank. So that's a nice one. Down the bottom right hand corner, we're chasing, not catching, I don't think. Okay, sorry, no, the charge in the centre there, you see the units coming from the side don't quite reach. But the landwehr do. And the landwehr in the field do a pip. I'd love to roll for them. I bet they're a 6 as well. But unfortunately, at the top corner, a lethal round of artillery fire. And those brave boys are broken. So I've lost 3 units now. 4 breaks me. And I can't get Roger to 4. And here's the melee in the middle. My guys. 2, 4, 6, 8 dice, roll 1 hit. It's 5 dice, roll 2. They don't break them. And I break them eventually with the other guys coming into the flank. But superior dice, not even managed to draw so far. That was a killer. Bounce back and take a pip. Seen this before somewhere, this picture? Look at that, these guys are on 3 as well. You only roll 5 dice. Ah, it's a heartbreaker. Another landwehr on 3, so they can't charge. And I'm suddenly realising I'm not sure how I can win this, because the ones on the bridge... Anyway, the way it works out is the guys at the top, I charge in the flank, and hopefully the game is almost bound to end before the ones on the bridge can come in. That's assuming I get another turn. So the ones on the hill have formed line, and are going to prepare themselves on the hill to take the charge of the 2 attack columns. I think he's on 2 or 3 pips. He's in real trouble. And of course this unit on the bottom advances on my guns, and because they rallied last turn, they're only on 1 pip. So even if I do the double hit with canister, they're on 3. They'll then get the charge of me. If the game does continue, the artillery are destroyed. So it's a no-win for them. And the pursuit, and if you remember, it's the bottom right corner, 1 up from this one, where I was going to run them down. They've formed line. So he's thinking the defensive fire. If I charge, he does defensive fire, does a pip. I'm on 3. If I don't win the melee, my unit will be broken. And Roger wins the game. It's a bit of genius just putting him in line and saying, go on then. I've got to survive all that and win the melee, and then might win the game. So it's not a good return, really. And this is the nail. The nail. 3 dice rally again. They form lines, they're moving. They're next to the enemy. It's 3 dice. They've all got to be 4s or more. Look at that. 5, 5, 6. Thank you very much. We're in line, and now to get an extra dice and harder for me to break him. And have to double to win there. So that's really not on. And they rallied as well. It's a crushing turn. I don't know if it would save them, but it does give them an extra chance, doesn't it? And again, I need the double now, so just the win, which into the flank you should get. Okay, so turn 19 plus 3. We have to roll to see if Roger gets a turn now. It's gone that way around. Both know to re-roll, I think it's 5 or more? 4 or more. Anyway, we do it. Whatever it was, we did it. So there's his defensive fire onto my poor old landwehr. Yeah, misses again, shooting the landgrave in the field at the top. Anyway, not a lot. Yeah, as me look at the artillery and thinking, do I shoot? I realise I'm not going to get another turn to destroy them. I don't think artillery get incoming fire either as a reaction. I think it'd just be a melee. Maybe if they got 2 rounds. I didn't think of that. I might have got that wrong. Anyway, they skedaddled, as they say in the American Civil War. I've got that charge on the guys who had crossed the bridge. I pushed up to the guys in the hill, but I can't. I haven't enough movement to charge them. They've managed to outrun me. Because the guys you see at the front are just balancing. It's the back ones who are measuring against, I think. Anyway, either way, I can't do it. I was on 3, or I couldn't make the win. So I think it's either us roll a 5, isn't it? That's right. Yeah, one of us has rolled a 5, not both of us. And I rolled 1, so we continue. And he's backed off again. It's really annoying, because I had them both in charge range at last. I've taken a pip here from the shooting. So I'm on 3, so I can't charge, even if I wanted to. What can you do? I rallied it. Oh well. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I'd forgotten to rally in my last turn. I didn't move. So Roger kindly let me rally, but we already know they've been hit anyway, so it didn't make a lot of difference. What it did mean is a charge. Okay, so they plough into the flank. We'll have that. We're on a full 8 dice, minus 1 is 7. He's on half dice, about 2 dice or something, 3 dice. Anyway, not enough dice, and they get destroyed. So we've both got 3 broken units. 1 more to win the game either way. So he's charged across the bridge into my flank. So now I'm thinking this had better be the end of the game, because I really don't want to fight that one out. And also, yeah, they've just pushed up. Did he charge me? Yeah, he did charge me. Yeah, I'm not sure what you gain by that. Doesn't look like they're in contact, does it? Okay, my guys are zooting off, not really doing anything now. We roll. If one of us rolls a 6, the game continues. Either of us rolls a 6, the game continues. No, so close. So that was the end of the game. Both on the edge of breaking. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fascinating. It really was. So both armies hanging on by the skin of their teeth, really. And it was a really enjoyable game. A lot more manoeuvring early on than usual. I think their field on the left of the woods there really did close off that flank, which made it a battle over this side. I placed the hill on the far right, but that was meant to be an attacking move, so I could mass my columns without getting shot by artillery. But as Roger chose the corners, ended up in this bottom left-hand corner, and I couldn't see any real way of attacking that left flank. So, but anyway, it worked out brilliantly, and it's a very exciting game, and both sides close to break, well, right on the edge of breaking. Could have gone either way again. To and fro's, melees. I wish more people played LaSalle. It really is great. And I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was worth, I put the extra effort in on the camera zooms and the new microphones. Hope that's all come across well. And you enjoyed the video. Please leave some comments, and looking forward to the next one. Keep rolling.